BAE put this out, and it is innovating today because you haven't heard much about the Tempest, right? This is we've talked about it on the Mover and Donkey show and a little bit on this channel, but I haven't heard much about it. So this was the first time I've really seen any kind of stuff put out, and they put out this video, which is not much, right? Kind of looks like a Raptor there, which is, I mean, it's a good looking airplane. I mean, the Raptor's a good design, but we're going to go to their website, see no HUD, helmet, fancy helmet, incline seat or recline seat, I should say. And that's really all they did. But then if you go to their website, it is pretty darn incredible.
3, 2, 1, fight off.
So they say this is the future of air combat. They're leveraging and developing the best technology in existence, working in partnership with academia and high-tech SMEs. Innovation sits in everything we do. You see some VR goggles there. Here's the technology that they've come up with, which is pretty eye-watering, right? Like, obviously they've got the next-gen radar, powerful radar that can do a whole bunch of stuff. Got it. That's not a big deal. The advanced digital cockpit, software-driven interactive cockpit allows the pilot to take control using gestures. Gestures. I wonder how, because when I see that, I'm like, okay, that sounds great on paper, but a grimy cockpit that's being worked on by, an 18-year-old with a wrench, hope it can stand up and not, it works. Like touchscreen stuff, it gets all grimy, voice activation, it stops understanding you after a while. But it's an interactive cockpit. Augmented and virtual reality displays project vital information directly in front of the pilot's eyes. Augmented reality in a fighter. There's augmented reality stuff already on the table for training, right? Where they can project adversaries into a helmet, and instead of having to spend a whole bunch of money on red air, they're just in a real airplane, but merging with a virtual entity out there to get the training, which I think is pretty cool. I knew some guys that were working on that. Integrated sensors, sensor fusion, that's always been a huge part of everything 5th gen and above. But, that's pretty standard. Intelligent weapon systems. So they're going to use AI and machine learning. Hope it doesn't become self-aware. The system exploits information from the aircraft to maximize the effect. And that is what you want. Part of the sensor fusion is data interpretation, taking all the information that your sensors are giving you and making it something that's understandable and relatable. And, whereas, I'm old school, right? So I'm memorizing ranges, I'm memorizing weapons envelopes and all that stuff. Well, you got AI telling you, shoot, dummy, this is a threat. This is when it's going to be a factor. Like it's extrapolating and interpolating all that data. And I think that is highly useful and beneficial. So that'd be something real cool to have. Software-driven system, open systems architecture, allow easy and rapid changes in capability. Yeah, I mean, plug and play, right? Advancing emerging tech that you can take out the old stuff, upgrade without having to buy a new jet or have to worry about like what the F-35 is doing with the TR-3 and all, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, being modular. And then this one I thought was interesting. Efficient power. It's a world first electrical starter generator, safe space, and provides the massive amounts of power required. So most fighters have, like the Hornet has an APU, auxiliary power unit, and the F-16, for example, has a jet fuel starter. So having an electrical starter generator, lightweight, that's interesting. Saves space. The only thing that's weird is the tails are real small, but I'm sure there's some measure of, thrust vectoring or something that's also. So then we get into the extended reality, which this is where I'm like, wow, I'm geeking out on this because the pilot has the helmet visor, which you hope doesn't break. F-35 had a huge problem with this, where when the thing broke, you were done. And we saw that with the mishap with the F-35, the Marine F-35, where his helmet and the displays and, there were all kind of issues. But this allows full operation day and night and provides 2D and 3D holographic displays so that the pilot can instantly get vital information anywhere they look. Also use eye tracking for rapid access of information. Audio is projected from the helmet to the headset in the exact direction it comes from. So, if you get like a missile warning, well, it'll sound like it's behind you. And then when you turn, it'll sound like it's in front of you, which is amazing. I mean, it seems common sense, but this is stuff that's not in jets yet. I mean, that's situational awareness. Pilot monitoring. I mean, I don't know what that thing is, but it looks like the thing from Ghostbusters. Data is processed to understand the pilot's mental and physical response to a situation. So a little bit of Big Brother. It's checking your brainwave activity, eye position, heart rate, breathing rate. Can you imagine coming back from a sortie and the data is like, hey, you zoned out from time 55 to 59. What were you thinking about? And it's like, women. What are you like? What I was thinking about Friday night. I mean, oh boy, I don't know if I want it to know all of my thoughts here. This is the passed on onboard intelligence that can step in and assist the pilot, require ensuring the pilot doesn't become overloaded. Man, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't help you with that. You are too distracted right now. I'm taking over so we don't die. Ugh. I don't know about that part. Like, it sounds cool, but then I'm also like, I'm a fighter pilot. I don't need this crap. Advanced life support. This stuff is cool. They vibrate, provide cues, alerts, and warnings. It's like the seat in your Yukon that vibrates to let you know somebody's passing behind you. But it also, I don't know how useful, because a fighter is a tactile environment, right? We use feel to know, when you're on the edge of the envelope and stuff like that. I don't know. I'd be interested to see how it is, but it supports pilots in situations like high G altitude temperatures, vibration, long duration mission to make sure they can carry out the mission safely and effectively. Where I see this stuff is like G-lock, the jet will take over if it thinks that you're, loss of consciousness or stuff. Hypoxia, fatigue, maybe it is. You're on an 8-hour mission and, the uppers aren't really working anymore. And so it takes over and lands blame. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? But then at some point you're like, why do we even need that? Factor of the future, I don't care about, but somebody might think that's cool. They've got the demonstrator to test technologies, and that is the rest. I want to see this thing fly. Like, this is all cool, but I would like to see the next phases and the next step and see this thing actually start flying and operating. But if it has all this stuff, I mean, wow, that's really cool. I mean, that's another thing where, I don't know what I don't know on this. I'm old school now, but I'd love to fly something like that with that much tech. It's just, I think too much tech can be a bad thing, because then you get into the what's it doing, but that might be where their AI comes in. But my experience with AI has been, it's good when it's used correctly, but it's not ready yet. It's still doing a lot of stupid stuff. It hallucinates stuff. It can't draw hands, but that obviously those are different types of AI. But in a world where it can take sensor information, assess threats, and spit it out instantly, man, that's pretty useful stuff. So it could be a really cool fighter in general. And then it makes me wonder, what's the 6th gen F-47 going to be like? Like, if this is here, what's the F-47 going to be like? And what's China doing? What's China doing with their J series, 5.5, 6th gen fighters? This is an arms race, and it's heating up. This is cool. I know there's been a lot of news about partners being frustrated with the Tempest program, and that's the other question, is when's this thing gonna start flying and go IOC? It's really great on paper, but if it doesn't fly, it's just on paper. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.